welcome to every episode of SpongeBob Season 1 review. I got this idea from Pie Guy Rules, who also did it up, but he stopped doing it up to Season 10, and he seems to be uninterested, and also, as of right now, he has stopped his channel, so I decided to do SpongeBob Season 1 review. So yeah, it's about my opinion, and yeah. So that's kind of what it's about. So yeah, I'll be doing this up to like season 11, I guess. I'll try to get to season 11. Try not to use motivation and stick to the plot. So without further ado, let's begin. 1A, help wanted. SpongeBob applies for the job at a Krusty Krab. Fun fact: this is the first episode. If it wasn't obvious, because it's season 1, the beginning. Highlight is SpongeBob making Krabby Patties and the song. I forgot the song, but it was like that song. And then there's all the fish that swim in. This is a good episode. It's a nice beginning. It's like a nice origin story. SpongeBob doesn't have much continuity, but this is like an origin story. Like it's supposed to be how SpongeBob joined the Krusty Krab, which is really interesting. It also like introduces Patrick as well as Squidward and Mr. Crab. It's a nice beginning. It shows the Krusty Krab for the first time. It shows everything. It's nice, simple. It's a good introduction to the show. The show, just a snippet of what the show would be. 1B, Reef Blower. SpongeBob messes with a reef blower. Fun fact, there are no voices in this episode. Yeah, there are literally no voices. That's kind of strange for the second episode. But I like the background music. Because at least there had to be something, otherwise it would just be silent. Which wouldn't be the worst, but it would be make it more dead. But yeah, is it a good episode? Why, yes, it is. It is a good episode. Um, yeah. I like the short 2 minutes. It does it in 2 minutes, and it's really good with no voices. It's really good. It shows SpongeBob and Squidward messing around with um a reef blower, and it shows the comedic value of it. Even with no voices, they still make it funny and they still make it unique, and it's still even with the simple story, it's still a good episode. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 1C, Tea at the Tree Dome. SpongeBob meets Sandy and visits her home. Oops, spelling mistake. Fun fact, first appearance of Sandy. Highlight, SpongeBob dry out freak out where SpongeBob's running out of water and he runs around the tree dome and then Patrick enters and then yeah. So yeah. So yeah. It's a really nice introduction of Sandy. It's super good because it shows who Sandy is, like her karate skills, and it doesn't shows her tree dome, and even shows SpongeBob, Mr. Patrick again with this. In the old episodes, Patrick seems to be the guy that SpongeBob g- gives goes to get advice, but Patrick himself doesn't know much. And I like how Patrick and SpongeBob panic in the tree dome. It's a really nice introduction of Sandy, and also it's kind of hilarious with SpongeBob running out of water. It's a good episode. 2A, Bubble Stand. SpongeBob sets up a stand to teach about bubbles. Fun fact, this is the first time SpongeBob starts a business, and it won't be the last time, at least I think. Highlight, SpongeBob teaching how to blow bubbles. Yeah, I like how Squidward at first doesn't want to do it, but then he gets obsessed with it. Yeah, that kind of setup happens for a while. And yeah, I like how SpongeBob, the bubbles go bigger and brighter. It's a really good classic episode. Yeah, what I have to say, it's just good. Yeah, that's kind of it. 2B, Rip Pants. SpongeBob rips his pants. This is the first appearance of Larry the Lobster, who's a really obscure character, but he appears again. Highlight, the Rip Pants song. What's not to love about the Rip Pants song? This episode's also kind of used to see how SpongeBob is kind of Sandy is like a love interest for SpongeBob, which I guess it's kind of Yeah, the song kind of makes it sound like it, but I don't know. I don't think that was intended, right? I don't think was it intended for. Was it originally intended for Sandy to be a girlfriend for Underworld? Yeah. Anyway, moving on. The episode itself is a really good episode about how to not make a fool of yourself in front of everyone, for everyone else's entertainment. Yeah, it's it's just SpongeBob ripped his pants. It's a good episode. Moving on. 3A jellyfishing. SpongeBob and Patrick can Squidward jellyfishing when he's injured. Fun fact: first Squidward torture episode. Highlight: it's SpongeBob and Patrick torturing Squidward. Now it isn't a bad episode because Squidward's getting tortured. It's because it's a misunderstanding because they can't heal Squidward. He's banded up after he got in an accident. So it's understandable, and also it's very entertaining. And also at the end, SpongeBob and Patrick get the comeuppance by jellyfish chasing after them. Now this episode isn't as good as the other ones, but it's still a good episode. It's not. It's just not as good. It's a good way of handling a Squidward torture episode by justifying Squidward's torture. Also, 3B Plankton. Plankton mind controls SpongeBob to get the formula. Fun fact: the first appearance of Plankton. Duh, because it's literally Plankton in the title. Highlights: it's Plankton record play. It makes it so dramatic. What we notice about this episode is they make Plankton super small. Like he's like the size of SpongeBob's thumb. He's like so tiny. In the later seasons, they buff up his size so you can at least see him. But in the first season, his size was super tiny like actual Plankton. But now they made it slightly bigger so you can actually see him. But he's still small. It's a good episode. First episode of Plankton also mind controlling, which won't be the last apparently. Yeah. But just a nice introduction of Plankton. It's a really good introduction of him and his villainy ways. And yeah, and also the first episode of him stealing the formula. It won't be the last, of course. Moving on. 4A Naughty Nautical Neighbors. SpongeBob and Patrick fight over who's the better friend of Squidward. Fun fact: second appearance of Bubbles in the story. Yeah, because it's also about Bubbles, SpongeBob, and Patrick. What you should note is that SpongeBob and Patrick have a backyard, which is rarely used. It's rarely brought up. Like, when was the last time it ever was used? And also, when's the last time SpongeBob uses his garage? Anyway, highlight. This highlight is SpongeBob and Patrick fighting over being Squidward, like they're pretending to be Squidward. Yeah, it's really. I like how Squidward brought himself because he tried to annoy them both. It tried to annoy them both because and causing them SpongeBob and Patrick to not be friends. And yes, they try to be friends over Squidward. And it's justified because Squidward caused on himself by messing with SpongeBob and Patrick while they were just having fun. That's a good episode. 4B boating school. When SpongeBob's sick of failing his boating test, he decides to cheat. Now imagine if he actually did pass this episode, then maybe all the other episodes wouldn't happen with the boating. But Steven Hillenburg, one of his rules was that never let SpongeBob pass his boating test. Anyway, fun fact: the first appearance of Miss Puff, which is obvious because she runs the boating school. Yeah, I like SpongeBob figuring out when he cheats, and I like how Patrick SpongeBob helps SpongeBob, cheat. Yeah, and I like how of course he doesn't pass his test because he cheated because otherwise all the other episodes with Mrs. Puff and the bowling school would not happen. But yeah, this is a good episode. It's a nice introduction to Mrs. Puff. Also, the first showing of the my leg gag, and also it shows how SpongeBob is bad at is bad at his boating test. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. 5A Pizza Delivery. SpongeBob and Squidward deliver pizza. Now this is a good episode. The second appearance of SpongeBob failing at driving a boat. Because the last one was boating school when he first failed his boating test. So yeah, I like Squidward. highlight, of course, is Squidward standing up a bunch, but that's like everyone's favorite highlight. And yeah, that's just a solid episode. I do I note is that the middle part of the episode kind of gets dry because all there's just SpongeBob and Squidward messing around in the middle of nowhere for no reason. Some reason, yeah, but yeah, still a good episode, even with the middle being kind of dry. 5B Home Sweet Pineapple. When SpongeBob's home gets destroyed, he must live somewhere else. Fun fact, first appearance of SpongeBob's parents, who rarely appear. Like, geez, they are a reoccurring character, but they barely appear. Like once every season, maybe twice. If they're super lucky, except they don't even appear. Anyway, moving on highlights. Patrick squashing SpongeBob with his rock. That's a good one. I also like how SpongeBob tries to find other ways to live somewhere else. But I think this episode should it, which home should it go to? I think it should go to the home of good episodes. Yeah. Moving on. 6-8. Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 1. Even though it's not called 1, it's just Mermaid and Barnacle Boy because it's the first one. SpongeBob and Patrick try to bring Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy out of retirement. Also, I don't think Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy was supposed to be recurring characters because they were voiced by guest stars who were like super old, like super old. I don't know if I forgot their names, but they weren't that young, and I don't think Nickelodeon they wouldn't choose characters who would choose actors who were super old and guest star, and they were guest star, not like regular actors. So I don't think they were intended to be recurring characters, and also they were numbered, meaning they were special. But I think as time went on, they decided to make Mermaid and Barnacle Boy appear more in the later seasons. Anyway, this is the first appearance of Mermaid and Barnacle Boy, if it wasn't already obvious. Mermaid and Barnacle Boy trying to fight SpongeBob and Patrick. I like how they fight, and Mermaid Man's quote, evil, which is iconic. But is this a good episode? Or is this a super villainly garbage episode? Well, it's a good episode. 6B Pickles. When SpongeBob messes up Bubble Bath's order, he goes insane. Oh, by the way, I forgot. My rating is a good episode, average episode, and garbage episode. If sorry I mentioned that. Sorry I mentioned that at the start. Did not mention it at the start. But yeah. Anyway, back to the episode. This is the first appearance of Bubble Bath, and what's crazy is this was his only appearance until season 8. So yeah, this was his only episode for the longest time. It's a shame because I've heard that Boba Bass was supposed to be like another villain besides Puppet, but he doesn't appear much. Anyway, besides that, I like SpongeBob going and seeing all the pickles. It's a pretty entertaining episode. It's like a pretty good episode of SpongeBob going crazy over messing up. He overreacts. That's what the thing is. But I think this is a good episode. This is good. It's a pretty good episode because I just like Bubble Bass. I like SpongeBob going insane. I like Mr. Crab trying to help him. Ish. 7A Hall Monitors. SpongeBob takes Hall duty too far. This is the first time Mrs. Puff goes to jail. And like literally in almost every Mrs. Puff episode, she goes to jail. Wow. The highlight is SpongeBob going too far. Like he instead of just being hall monitor for like the boating school itself, he goes into the rest of Bikini Bottom and just screws everything off. And I like the interaction with Patrick and SpongeBob and how like the police are after SpongeBob and Patrick freaking out when the police show him a picture of SpongeBob trying to catch him. Yeah, this is a good episode. This is a really good episode. Not being annoying. Without SpongeBob being annoying or jerky. 7B Jellyfish Jam. SpongeBob music attracts jellyfish. This is the second episode, which includes jellyfish in the title of the jellyfishing. Technically, if I really want to be specific, technically it doesn't say jellyfish in the title. It says jellyfishing. But I'll just for a fun fact, alright? I like the music. Uh, yeah, that's uh, yeah. It's a good episode, I guess. It's good. It's just SpongeBob attract. It's just SpongeBob music attracting the fish. He likes it, and then you get to know it. To be honest, it's kind of a low good episode. I only make it good because I like the music and I like how the jellyfish swarms forward. But besides that, it's just so eh. I just it's good. It's just not that good. Alright, it's not that good, but it's good. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's just a pretty decent episode. 8A, Sandy's rocket. SpongeBob and Patrick finally landed on the moon and start kidnapping everyone thinking they're aliens. This is the first time science is involved with Sandy. Sandy becomes more with science in later episodes, but in the first few seasons, she's more about karate and just being friends with SpongeBob and Patrick. I like SpongeBob and Patrick kidnapping everyone, thinking that they landed back on Bikini Bottom, thinking that it's like the moon, and they think everyone's out just aliens. I like that. It's not hilarious, and this is a good episode. It's a weirdly unique episode, and they want to come back to space until like Mooncation, but that's later. That's a list. I'm mentioning seasons from like mentioning things from like seasons later on because this when this is only season one. Anyway, moving on. 8B Squeaky Boots. SpongeBob annoys Mr. Krabs' Squeaky Boots. Oh boy, this episode. This fun fact. This is the first appearance of Pearl, Mr. Krabs' daughter, who's a whale. Yeah, that makes no sense. Anyway, highlight. I like Mr. Crab in the window. The window keeps annoying Mr. Crab, and it's kind of funny. But what I think of this episode is a garbage episode. Yeah. 9A Nature Pants. SpongeBob wants to live with the jellyfishes. Fun fact, SpongeBob leaves his job for the first time. Highlight Patrick's breakdown. Yeah, it's just so Um, I just yeah, it's just so I like the fact that Patrick has a breakdown. I like yeah, it's just a good episode. I like Squidward's 11-minute line, and I like Sandy's and Patrick trying to find him. SpongeBob regretting it. But it's an average episode. It's just average because to be honest, it's kind of Patrick going too far and SpongeBob regretting it and coming back. It comes out of place because I don't know why would SpongeBob just all out of nowhere want to live with the jellyfish. So it's just kind of average. 9B opposite day. When Squidward tells SpongeBob it's opposite day, he tries to sell his house. Fun fact, first time Squidward tries to move from SpongeBob, which won't be the last time, of course. But I need something that gets kind of obvious. First highlight is Squidward being, Squidward. Also, besides that, is the highlight being SpongeBob being Squidward. I like how they pretend to be Squidward. Kind of funny. This is a unique plot. I like this plot. It's a simple but unique idea. It's pretty cool. And Opposite Day is actually a real holiday, or not holiday. It's like a national holiday day. Anyway, this is a good episode. 10A Culture Shock. The Krusty Krab puts on a talent show. Fun fact: first time the Krusty Krab has a talent show. Yeah. I like Squidward's weird dance he does. Who doesn't like it? I like how the crowd interacts with SpongeBob and all the other actors. It's kind of hilarious. This is a cool idea. It's funny. The story is cool, and it's just a good classic episode. That's all it is. 10B FUN or fun. SpongeBob tries to be friends with Plankton. Fun fact: third appearance of Plankton. I like the fun song. Who does who? Who does not? I mean, it's the highlight. What other part of the episode is the highlight? This episode's good. It's just that the main part of it, of course, is the fun song. This is a good episode. Yeah, I like how SpongeBob tries to be with friends with Plankton, and Plankton even kind of gets looped in. Even at the end, they of course Plankton betrays SpongeBob because they have to do that because they have to keep every episode cut off from each other, like every episode like separate from each other. Anyway, moving on. 11A muscle bob buff pants. SpongeBob uses fake muscles to get everyone impressed. Instead, I said get impressed everyone. That makes no sense. I'm just gonna say get everyone impressed. Fun fact: another appearance of Larry the Lobster. The second appearance. I like the ending where SpongeBob gets caught and learns that he can't just fake it. And yeah, so moving on. It's a good episode. 11B Squidward the Unfriendly Ghost. SpongeBob and Patrick from Squidward's a ghost. Fun fact: one of the few times a Nicktoon loses the one dead. Oh my god, that's two! That's too much for a kid. I like the watermelon gag. It's just an average episode. It's just so yeah. It's definitely upper average. If they had just like there was like Squid was like bossing them around more or something like that, then maybe I'll put it on higher. But it's just there. It's really close to good. It's really close. I would put it at good if they just added something more to the episode. 12A, the chaperone. SpongeBob takes Pearl to the prom. Fun fact: the first episode to focus on Pearl, and also this is her second appearance. Highlight do the Sponge song. Yeah, I like that song. It's a really underrated SpongeBob song. But it's a average episode. Yeah, it's eh. It's just there. I don't. It's just kinda eh. It's just so there. Just mostly ending is kind of stupid. Like SpongeBob Bakes being SpongeBob, something like that. That's kind of dumb. Also, I don't like Mr. Crab in the episode, to be honest. Mm, yeah, I would. Yeah, I don't really like him either, and yeah, it's just SpongeBob kind of probably doesn't want to be with SpongeBob. Yeah, yeah, that's kind of it. Yeah, moving on. 12B Employee of the Month. SpongeBob and Squidward try to compete to be Employee of the Month. I mean, I should have added that to the description. Fun fact: first time SpongeBob and Squidward compete for something. I like SpongeBob and Squidward compete for the employment. I like how they compete against each other. Like they race to finish each other, and Squidward has never won one. Yeah, SpongeBob has like won a bunch of them, while Squidward has like 1-0, which is pretty obvious. That they did the same thing in the SpongeBob movie, which yeah. What I think of this episode, it's a good episode. I like how they compete for a useless award. And like how they destroy the Krusty Krab in the end. So yeah. 13A scaredy pounds. SpongeBob is annoyed of being scared of Halloween. It's the first Halloween episode in SpongeBob. In the SpongeBob on SpongeBob. I like the Blind Dustbin. Who's this? The first, technically the first episode where he appears in, although but he appears in like the flesh, not like in like a comic book in Squidward the Unfriendly Ghost. But the Flying Dutchman is the best part. I also like how so Patrick might have chopped off too much of SpongeBob, which shows his brain, but isn't like gross out like later season. Like it's kind of tame, but this is a good episode. I like Sandy's costume apparently because like a fish in a yeah like a goldfish and like I like Squid being behind Dutchman, yeah. 13B, I was a teenage Gary. Squid was neglectful of Gary while pet sitting, and a needle turned SpongeBob into a snail. Fun fact: first episode have Gary in the title. Highlight: SpongeBob's design as a snail. It's pretty cool. I like how they carry the design of SpongeBob onto the snail. His boy Squidward's. There's this incident about how there might be a scene where Squidward turns into a snail because it just blatantly just cuts over from Squidward turning into a snail, and then it doesn't show him turning into a snail. It turns him. It shows him hitting the needle hitting his nose, but then it cuts off into him being a snail. So it doesn't show him transforming into a snail. Some people thought there's a deleted scene, but turns out there was not a deleted scene at all for this episode. That's like the only thing interesting about people talking about this episode. This is a garbage episode. This is just so um it's very light garbage. It's not too bad. Like when you get to the later seasons, this would be considered meh. This would be considered average in other seasons, but yeah. Um, but since this is season one, this is just garbage. I just don't. It's just so. Oh my god! It's so uninteresting. It's just it goes over the place. The story's over the place. It's not funny, and it goes from like school. It's all over the place. Like it goes from SpongeBob to the Squidward's perspective, then the SpongeBob, then like Squidward's and SpongeBob's. It's all over the place. The story is kind of wacky, and the ending is dumb. Like unlike other they don't transform back into their original selves. Like SpongeBob and Squidward stay as snails at the end. So for all we can know, they could be snails. This is not bad. It's just garbage. Not too much. Not too garbage. It's just kind of very. It's like very light garbage episode. 14A SB129. When Squidward runs away from SpongeBob and Patrick, he gets trapped in the Krusty Krab freezer. He time travels. Wow. Wow, episode focused only on Squidward. Very interesting. Fun fact, this is the fun fact. SB129 means that this is the 29th episode of SpongeBob. Very interesting how the title is like saying that it's the 29th episode of SpongeBob. Very keep track of how many. That's a very unique idea for a title. And like Squidward with primitive sponge and primitive star where he like time travels to like prehistoric SpongeBob and like he sees sees primitive sponge and primitive star and teaches them the jellyfishing at the end. It turns out that Squidward was the one who invented jelly and how to do jelly, how to catch jellyfish or something like that. Whatever you call it, like jellyfishing. I think that's what you call it. So yeah, I like this episode. This is a really cool idea. And the time travel idea is a really cool idea for SpongeBob. And I like how Squidward gets and goes insane being alone. I like the alone thing. I like him traveling to the future where it says everything is cool in the future, which is a really memorable thing. And yeah, it's really good. anyway, this is a good episode. 14B Karate Choppers. When Mr. Krabs says they don't do any more karate, if they do any more karate, he'll fire SpongeBob. So Sandy and SpongeBob don't do karate. By don't they mean they do a loophole and they like pretend to not do karate ish. Fun fact, Sandy did karate in the T Dome, and this is the first time SpongeBob is fired. And then it sets up a very long many episodes of SpongeBob getting fired. I like SpongeBob terrorizing people with his karate skills. I like how SpongeBob is sad because he got fired. Of course, he would be like he did. I mean, in Pickles, he got look at Pickles, episode Pickles. This is a good episode. Shows personality in SpongeBob's karate skills, and also the ketchup with the face on it was Tom Kenny. So yeah, I like how Sandy and SpongeBob do karate. I like the ending, and it's like pretty cool episode. 15A sleepy time. SpongeBob invaded everyone's dream. This episode is super simple, but the concept is good. The episode itself is really good, like the funny jokes and everyone's dreams. In his dream, he has his boat license. It says he was born the year 1986. That's a really weird year. Would that mean SpongeBob's only like 13 years old? What? Anyway, moving on. Highlight. I like everyone's dreams. Everyone's dreams. I like it. Like if I had to pick one of them, I don't know. Mr. Krabs. I like them all. Yeah, it's a good episode. Man, it's a nice concept. It's a nice idea to see everyone's dreams. 15B suds. SpongeBob gets the suds, like how sponges get suds in real life. But in fact, it's the first appearance of Hans, which is the hand, which is the hand arm or whatever that is. I like the sponge treatment by Doctor. Uh, it's a good episode. Not much to say. It's just like how it's like how it basically takes advantage of the fact that SpongeBob is a sponge and shows what would it be like if what would SpongeBob be sick of suds because that's what in real life sponges get suds. 16A Valentine's Day when Patrick realized he didn't get a present, he goes crazy. But in fact, this takes place in Goo Lagoon. Also, yeah, I like Patrick going crazy because it's not like jerky. It's like him slowly going insane over time. Because yeah, I can see why people don't like it because of Patrick, but I really find it a funny episode, like where he takes on the Hot Man, of course, and I like him taking fighting everyone at the end. Yeah, he goes crazy, and I like yeah, um, yeah, it's a good episode. It's a really cool idea. I mean, it's a Valentine's. I mean, that's not a very cool idea, but it's like I like how they use Valentine's Day to their advantage. 16B, the paper. SpongeBob plays with a paper and Squidward wants it and tries to get it. This is a really forgettable episode. This is really it on TV. It's because the sister episode Valentine's Day only airs on Valentine's Day. If you air Valentine's Day on literally any other day besides Valentine's Day, it feels weird. It really feels weird. I like SpongeBob playing with the paper, like he using his unique way. And when Squidward finally gets the paper, after trading everything, including his house to him, he realized that the only reason SpongeBob was having fun with paper was because he used his imagination rather than Squidward's non-imagination. Like how Squidward gets obsessed with that paper and wants it after not wanting it. It's a really simple concept, but it's a really good episode. Not really good episode, just a good episode because there's not much to it. But it's a good episode. Also, I realized that the titles are really simple, like pickles, the paper, Squeaky Boo. Squeaky Boo is not like a really simple, but it's like kind of. Oh, Mr. Krabs takes SpongeBob and Patrick treasure hunting. Oh yeah, I forgot that Mr. Krabs actually had a little pirate theme. Nowadays, the only thing about his character is he likes money. Back then, his one of his traits was actually he was like a pirate theme. One of the few episodes, like Grandpappy the Pirate in season six, it's like one of the few episodes that Mr. Krabs has some kind of pirate theme. He's like act like a pirate. Nowadays, he's just money hungry. And I like the journey, and like Flying Dutchman appears again. Wow, it's second appearance or third appearance, I don't know. I'm gonna count anymore. But I like Mr. Krabs' pirate theme. I like how he takes SpongeBob and Patrick treasure hunting with a board game. It's a very fun, simple episode, and it's a good episode. 17B, Rock Bottom. SpongeBob tries to catch the buses when he's stuck in Rock Bottom. But in fact, first appearance of Rock Bottom and Glove Roll. Rock Bottom appears again, but appears in um they Glove Roll and Rock Bottom don't appear again for the next many seasons. I won't say which seasons, but I'll say they do appear again. I like SpongeBob missing the buses, like how the buses are messing with him, like how it messes with him. I like the ending where he just used a balloon to get back up. Rock Bottom was a really cool area. I wish it was used more. It's such a cool idea. I like how I like the jokes. It's kind of hilarious with SpongeBob being by himself. It's so funny, and it's just so yeah. It's just good. It's just a good episode. The concept was cool and unique. And I wish it was just used more. I wish Rock Bottom was used more. 18A Texas. SpongeBob and his friends try to stop Sandy from leaving him for a party. Fun fact, first time we know Sandy is from Texas. Before that, we thought he was just a random squirrel that appeared out of nowhere wearing a helmet suit. I like the Texas insults made by SpongeBob and Patrick. The second best thing is also Sandy chasing Patrick and SpongeBob. And I like how the ending is like everyone tries to SpongeBob try. I like how Bikini Bottom makes the Bikini Bottom people try to make Bikini Bottom more like Texas to stop Sandy from leaving. Like at the Krusty Krab, and I like how yeah. Yeah, I like the ending, like how his friends actually care about Sandy enough to make Sandy not leave. Yeah, this is a cool idea. It is a good episode. Also, Texas is kind of rarely brought up for Sandy nowadays. Anyway, I need to stop talking about other future seasons. I should just talk about season one because it's just season one right now. 18B, Walking Small. Plankton tries to make SpongeBob mean to scare away a townfish of Plankton to make another chum bucket in Goo Lagoon. On the film episodes and pre-movie SpongeBob there's nothing to do with the formula. I like SpongeBob being mean to everyone at Goo Lagoon, like saying the most basic insults ever. And like Goo Lagoon appears again, of course. Like how Plankton messes with SpongeBob. And it's actually not about the formula for once. Wow, it's not actually about the formula. It's actually about him trying to open a chum bucket. I will obviously fail because no one wants to go to the chum bucket. Anyway, this is a good episode. 19A, Fools in April. When Google does a prank that goes too far, he tries to say sorry. Fun fact, apparently SpongeBob's favorite holiday is April Fool's. Highlight. I like the pranks SpongeBob does, which are the most harmless pranks ever. And like they're so harmless and they barely hurt anyone. I like Squidward's prank that goes too far. And I like how at the end Squidward actually tries to apologize to SpongeBob. Like he tries so hard. Just when you yeah, I like the episode. It's a good episode. And yeah, it is a good episode. 19B, Neptune Spatula. SpongeBob and King Neptune complete in a fry cook-off. Fun fact, the first appearance of a version of King Neptune / Poseidon. Yeah, or Neptune, that King Neptune, who's the one who appears in the main SpongeBob show, not the one in the movie, just one of those two in the movie, like Poseidon or Neptune. Anyway, highlight. I like the fry cook-off. It's a competition between King Neptune and SpongeBob. It's a really cool idea. It's just a good episode. I like how King Neptune, even if he's kind of a jerk, which he is in the show, but yeah, I like how he competes with SpongeBob. 28, Hooky. SpongeBob and Patrick can play with hooks when Mr. Krabs said not to. My god, this is the first plot that have Mr. Krabs told them not to do it and they do it anyway, which is a plot device that they use many times. I like SpongeBob and Patrick playing with the hooks, and I think it's a good episode. It's a very cool. It's a good episode with a unique concept of hooks because that's what people use to catch fish. 20B, last episode. Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 2. SpongeBob spends the day with Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. Fun fact, this is the second episode to feature Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, which isn't obvious already enough in the title. I like the Dirty Bubble. So it was kind of not as good as the first one because there's not as much action. It's just SpongeBob this time, and at least there's a villain. There's the Dirty Bubble, who appears again later on, despite the fact that SpongeBob pops him for some reason. I like how Merman and Barnacle will have to deal with SpongeBob's antics. And it's the first and this is when they're actually back in the Superman Prime, not just in retirement in the first episode. This is a good episode. Anyway, now that we're done with every episode, let's move on to the pie chart. So there's 36 good, which is 80% of it, 3 average, which is 7%, and 2 garbage, which are 5%. Based on the chart and the fact that 88% of it, but not almost 90% of it, is actually good, this is a good season. The top 5 is number 5, Og, number 4, Pickles, number 3, Pizza Delivery, Number 2, SB129, and number 1, Merman Barnacle Boy. Bottom 5. Number 5, Squidward the Unfriendly Ghost. Number 4, Nature Pants. 3, The Trap Room. Number 2, I Was a Teen and Scary. And number 1, Squeaky Boots. Notes: this was the only cell animated season of SpongeBob, meaning it was the only one hand drawn. Everyone else was like computer generated, it was computer drawn. Number 2, this has the most episodes in season 1 to 3. Number 3, this has no specials yet, because I guess they were trying, get used to making SpongeBob, because this is the first season, of course. This is 2 shorts, Help Wanted and Reflow. There wouldn't be another short until season 5. With the season ending, I'm gonna thank Pie for the inspiration, the SpongeBob Wiki, and the Wikimedia Commons and clipart for the images. Thanks for these. It's over. Make sure to like and subscribe. Jeez, this was a long video, and goodbye. Hope you enjoyed. See